I don't know. Are you optimistic that enough people will use this and not to riot, not to mob, but to actually come back powerful and strong with good ideas?
Well, I don't know because the thing of it is all I hear and listen, I have to put context around what I'm about to say because the people who speak up online and like leave comments on stuff like this or on Twitter or wherever, they usually tend to be the people that are complaining. Right. So I'm not about to suggest that what I'm hearing is the sum total of all the thoughts out there because I know I have a very high percentage in my like in just comments that you get of people that are complaining. But what I'm hearing is a lot of, frankly, like, woe is us. Like, this is horrible. We're never going to win another election again. Everything is bad. Everything is rotten. And so I really don't know. I feel like a lot of people are using, and frank, to be really frank, that was true before January 6th. And I think we saw that manifest itself, frankly, in Georgia, where a lot of people who showed up to vote for Donald Trump didn't bother going to vote for the candidates because they were like, it doesn't even matter. Voting is rigged. Blah, 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 blah. And so, what I tend to see on the right is, frankly, a lot of self sabotage, a lot of bad attitudes, and nothing is good, and the world is against us, and we are the victims. And I think it's ironic, quite frankly, because they're the ones who are always saying, like, the left just acts like victims all the time. Well, the right does too. And if they see no, if they cannot will themselves to see the opportunities in this circumstance, I can't do it for everyone. I see a ton of opportunities. I hear you talking about opportunities, but if average everyday people are just complaining about how the world is set against them instead of going out and actually building something and trying to create something, we can't fix that problem for them.
Yeah, Carlin, I'm really glad you brought that up because I didn't want to just, paint with a broad, we got to be better and all that. The people who are saying, woe is me, there's no point, why bother? I now consider them the worst part of the problem. I consider people who do that even worse than the left that's doing the canceling. And the reason is because they're not seeing the opportunity that's now presented. And if they don't take advantage of the opportunity, then they don't deserve to see the changes that they want to see.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to identify what the worst problems are, I never thought the worst problem was coming from the left. I was always concerned about the self-sabotage that comes from the right.
Oh, I
And
agree. I
yeah,
100% agree. Yeah.
sure. And shame on them more than shame on the left. The left is just the left. But the left has cleverly, for years, for maybe beyond a generation, has taken over our culture. And that's daunting. I mean, I don't want to sugarcoat that. I mean, what is one person going to do about answering the foulness and the fraudulent stuff about our culture?
Well, let me
Well,
jump in there for a second,
Carlin,
Howard. Hang on, let me jump in because I want to make a point. I'm even seeing it in the chat right now. I have Dana Scully here saying, "I don't know what Carlin is thinking. How are we going to win again when the other side is in control of everything and they protect everything and blah blah blah. Woe is us, woe is us." And so you just said like, what is like the average person going to do? Well, I'll tell you what doesn't help. Attitudes like that. Attitudes like that. That right now, 674 other people are seeing that comment, and the attitudes like that can easily influence 600 plus other people to be, woe is me, that person's right, everything is bad, everything is horrible. So, I mean, you may not feel like you have enough power to affect change for as one person, but you absolutely are wrong. You can affect change for good or you can affect change for bad, and you have to make that choice. I'm sorry, Howard, to interrupt.
No, I'm with you, and frankly, you're highlighting what I'm getting at. It's really interesting. I think I said moments ago, this is a huge financial opportunity for an entrepreneur. If you think of the market that exists for people who are saying, this isn't right, I can't support this anymore, everything is corrupt, and I've got money to spend. These people have money to spend on actually correcting everything. Now, that may sound vulgar, that we're going to use money to get our way out of this, but that's the capitalistic system. If somebody is only motivated by the money they can make off of people, let's call them the 100 million people who now need a server to put their content or to see their content, that's a huge opportunity. So the woe is me people they're done, and they're going to be passive, and they're going to have whatever happens to them because they took no agency. But if you don't see that there's an opportunity for agency more today than ever, there should be people licking their chops saying, this is our time. This is and you don't need to do it with a mob.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to cancel. And so, I mean, I'm making the case for how exciting this is.
Mm-hmm.
This could have, if this was always there for, at least 100 years. So if the Trump thing hadn't happened to show a light on it, we would have just, slogged along the way it is. But we actually have a chance to reinforce what the meaning of the Constitution is. We have a chance to reinforce what, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness means. And that's what I see about what's happening. Now, if you can't see that, then you're going to be depressed and you can't be a part of any movement. And this is what's really interesting. I usually avoid being part of movement. It's going to have to take a movement because you can't do it by yourself. Mm-hmm. You have to find other like-minded people. And if you aren't an example of how people can be uplifted during this time, then, and I'm suggesting you should be, and you are a huge example of what you can do, then there isn't any hope. If they can't see that, you can't make people see stuff. And that was the title of my article. It was called See. If they can't see it, it won't happen.
Yeah. Yeah.